My name is Calum Kerr, and I am a writer. I was born and raised in England with a Scottish name. I was 20 before I met another Calum, and in those 20 Calumless years, most other people have never heard of the name before. As a result, I spent my life spelling my name for them. Even those who had heard of it thought it had 2 L's in it, so if I wasn't spelling it, I was correcting it. The surname wasn't much easier. I change how I say it depending on who I'm talking to, as in Scotland it's Kerr, and in England it's Kerr. In Hollywood apparently it's Carr. I've never been to Hollywood. When I have to give my name over the phone, it comes out as a mixture of a name and spelling. Calum with 1 L. Kerr, K-E-R-R. It's become so rote, so routine, that it glides together. Kerr, K-E-R-R. And on a number of occasions, the person on the other end has written it down as Kirk. God knows what they think the whole E-R-R is about. Just a load of extra sounds dribbling from my mouth, I suppose. Kirk means church in Scots, but of course means something different to everyone else. It's not easy meeting people for the first time and immediately being a source of disappointment because they discover all their carefully crafted Star Trek jokes aren't needed. Sorry, no, it's Kerr, not Kirk. Yes, you can still call me Captain if it makes you happy. No, I can't beat you up. The strangest thing is, though, it's not just a Scottish name, it's a wrong Scottish name. Calum with 1 L is a Highland name, Calum with 2 is a Lowland version, and Kerr is the name of a Lowland clan. So my combination shouldn't exist. And there certainly shouldn't be another person in this world with my exact name. If there was, he'd have to be me. He'd have to be English but Scottish, have blondish hair and a reddish beard, and pale skin that turns red, not brown. He'd be a bit of a show-off, an artist, an original thinker. He'd exist on the margins, at the edges of the corners. He'd be me. And if we met, if we ever came together in the same place, we'd annihilate the Calum and the anti-Calum. All that would be left behind would be a wisp of fair hair and a spare letter L. So to stop this happening, I became a doctor. Not the good kind, you understand, not the kind that can help you with a rash or a broken bone, but one who can help you with a misplaced apostrophe. A doctor of creative writing. I studied for years, and now I'm Dr. Calum Kerr. Surely I must be the only one of those. Surely I must be unique. And so secure in my own oneness, I can write my stories knowing there's no other Dr. Calum Kerrs leaning over my virtual shoulder and stealing my words. Dom said, "I think it has a timeless quality," and Becky gritted her teeth. She liked Dom. He was cute and funny and not too crazy like some of his friends. He was exactly the kind of boyfriend she had spent her childhood hoping for. The only problem was his use of the word timeless. He used it like her other friends used the word awesome. She wasn't even entirely sure he knew what it meant. His latest comment was with regard to Doctor Who, and it was a step too far. "What do you mean by timeless?" she asked him. He floundered for a minute, his mouth fishing for words. "Well, you know, timeless." He flapped his hands a little, and she wanted to put him out of his misery and maybe finally kiss him. But she was determined. Timeless it's when something doesn't grow old. It's kind of like something that lasts forever. He paused, hoping this was enough, but the look of studied patience on her face told him he had to continue. It's It's something which is so right, so perfect, so separated from time and convention and trends and fashion that it's, you know, timeless. He held his hands out to her in appeal, and she took them. She pulled and led him from the lounge to the stairs. She hadn't taken him into her room yet. She hadn't wanted to, or her mum, hadn't wanted him or her mum to get the wrong idea, but this was definitely the time. He stepped over the threshold and stopped, looking around in wonder. Her room was full. The walls were covered in posters, the furniture with stickers and postcards, and every surface with objects. He wandered around like a man in a museum. The posters were reproductions of old masters, abstract art, stills from black and white movies, bands new and old, Casablanca, Foo Fighters, the Mona Lisa, the Marx Brothers, Inception, Duran Duran, Lucian Freud, Count Basie and his orchestra, David Hockney. The stickers and cards were the same. C&D, Ban the Bomb, Southampton FC 1973, the Rolling Stones, JLS, Pokemon, Honk If You're Horny, Keep Calm and Carry On, London by Night, Loose Lips Sink Ships. The objects were even stranger, from Roman coins and fossils, to a Davy lamp and a miner's helmet, a gas mask, a phonograph, a Betamax video recorder, a Blu-ray player, a Rubik's Cube. The clothes that spilled out of the stickered drawers and wardrobes told the same tale, with a mixture of every style that Dom felt he could have ever listed. He turned up and looked at Becky in wonder. What? What? Was all he managed. You need to understand, there is no way to hold back time. Your definition isn't of something that lasts forever. It's just of something so bland, it was never of any time. Never had any life, never stirred a single emotion. The only way to be truly timeless is to embrace it all. Find the fascination and the awe in everything that was and is and shall be, and carry it forward with you. He looked stunned, and she couldn't read his reaction. Do you get it? He nodded slowly, his eyes finally coming into focus. Yes, I get it. She moved closer to him, raised up on tiptoe, and they shared their first kiss. It was long and lingering. When she dropped back, he looked, if anything, even more stunned. Good, she said. I'm glad. Will you stop using that word now, then? That, in case you hadn't wondered and guessed, that was a work of fiction, but it's not really, is it? It can never be, because I wrote it from the things I've done, I've seen and heard and felt and read and smelt and tasted and heard about. It's in the third person, but that's just a thin disguise from the fact that Dom is me, with all my insecurities and anxieties and the basic worry that I'm just not good enough. Becky is the perfect woman that I've always looked for, strong, confident, independent and willing to put up with me. I learnt about Davy lamps from Mr. Howard in history class. My parents owned the Betamax, and my first girlfriend sent me the entirely black London by Night postcard. The Marx Brothers picture is one I got for my 18th birthday. The Blu-ray player belongs to my girlfriend, who, let's face it, is Becky. And the Pokemon cards belong to her teenage son. It's just a mashup of me, presented in a pleasing way for public consumption in an attempt to tell you something. But actually, it's not. This isn't me. None of what you've heard is true. Not for me. It's been a mashup of him, of Calum Kerr, presented in a pleasing way for public consumption in an attempt to tell you something. I'm not Calum Kerr. I'm Calum Kerr. I'm a Calum Kerr, not the Calum Kerr. Everything I said has been true but false, a true lie. I have been a reality of your imagination, a figment of a figment, a mirror eating its own reflection, a book telling its own tale. I've been a Calum Kerr, and thank you for listening to him. This has been written specifically for this performance by Dr. Calum Kerr. Find out more about him at www.calumkerr.co.uk. That's Calum with one L, Kerr, Kerr. And he is here tonight.